I don't know, but it sounds delicious. 2 bees.
I already got one.
Welcome to the Elk Season Podcast, Season 2, Episode 10. Today is April 14th?
That's 13th.
No, it's 13th. It's our sister's birthday.
That's which one?
Rita.
Oh. Great. You know, I was just telling my students how my personality is horrible with birth dates.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and it's 138 days until elk season.
138 days. If we should be lucky, like we had an episode on 208 with 208 days.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how the math is going to calculate because I just don't want to do it in my head. But what if we get to have an episode on 100 days from
100 days
or how exciting. So I'm just saying we can plan.
Does 7 go into 38?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. It doesn't. But numbers can be, wiggled.
That's all right. Yeah. We might, who knows what's going to be happening in 38 days.
Correct.
We could be, let's do it on a Saturday. Let's do it on this day. And then it'll be, we'll get
correct.
There.
So,
but someday, soon, it's going to be less than 100 days until elk season.
And I think that's why I was bringing that up, because getting closer and closer, it's just like you can feel it getting closer.
Yeah.
Although winter still wants to hold on to us here in Idaho.
Oh my gosh. I was talking this morning how big, fluffy snowflakes swirling in my driveway is actually cute and in October.
Yeah.
But April, no thanks. You can shove it. I don't want it.
I'm not a fan. I was telling somebody yesterday just how like the weather was nice, but they're like something about doing work and it's springtime, and I'm just like, winter has to go away first.
Yeah.
And we walk into school today, and he stopped by my office because he's like, man, it's snowing based on what you told me yesterday. I was like, yeah, winter isn't going anywhere, and it should.
Oh, it should, and it's actually good that
it shouldn't.
It's good that it's going away slowly. That brings us to our very first story, and that is one of the most important ecological topics out west is water.
Yeah.
And Utah especially has gotten a ton of snow. And I saw a report this week that it's still not enough to fill up Lake Mead and Lake Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's gonna make a dent, but it's not gonna.
It's gonna make a big dent.
Yeah,
but it's not gonna refill.
What would we say? I'm encouraged by seeing that lake levels have been rising. Like we said last week, like 3 feet, and it's been even more since then. So, that's great because every foot you get is all that much more water based on that martini glass effect. Yeah,
really, really good. And we're starting to see the downtowns of Salt Lake and Ogden, Utah. Some of the streets are already sandbagged as they're preparing for this big melt. But very good news, I think. The snow was really good news this morning.
Yeah,
because it was coupled with really cold temperatures, and that is just going to slow that melt. If they didn't get any reprieve at all, they would be in really, really big trouble. I mean, you saw the video, and it wasn't even that warm out.
No, it's kind of, it's crazy how water works when you have, like, I think of what you showed me. I think of when you have a flash flood situation.
Yeah,
but that's not what happened.
Right.
It's just slowly building up momentum as more and more snow melts, and
it just overwhelms the system.
And the video you showed me was of a neighborhood that's in development.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that the developers, the people who already have homes there? I mean, there's all these trash cans in a gully that's been dug out. That was dug out because of underneath the street, so it was paved and there's curbs.
Yeah.
And it is a deep groove now. So it's Mother Nature. Water, the most destructive thing on earth.
So destructive and so much energy. We get so much energy every year as those water stores are held up there.
And I think it's relevant here. I know there's a picture here, but I'm just going to bring it up now.
Yeah.
Is that you showed me a picture of a washout in a road somewhere.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the place we go to hunt. That's the first thing out of my mouth. I didn't hesitate.
Me too.
And
that's why I brought it.
And that was from the snowpocalypse we had in 2017.
That's right.
But the image you showed me wasn't even in Idaho.
It was not a flash flood from rain. It was not a flash flood from a storm. It was flash flood from a heat wave, from a melt.
Wow.
Right? That was where we hunt. That's what that was.
Okay. But it looked identical. It was, I'm still in my brain hurting. I
have no idea where that picture was taken. It says something else. It says Mount something.
Yeah.
But it was not where we go.
No.
Because you see the tree off to the side and you go, that's not even a tree that's there.
Right.
So, but the washout is so deep. It was such a good picture of the washout. I mean, I'll try to find something from one of my drone videos and show that washout.
Yeah.
Because it is just, the road is impassable.
Yeah, the road, the road that we're talking about has pines on each side.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this one doesn't have any pines, but the first thing out of my mouth, that's the road.
Yeah, but the angle and the depth of the wash was just like perfect.
And having people in the picture for context really kind of makes it go, yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
I actually think that one's a little bit more shallow than the one that we have been dealing with.
And less wide too, because the one up where we hunt has a road. It's like half the track of the road that was gone.
Just unbelievable.
So
and how much water fell last year in that rain, but it didn't come down and really wash out trails or roads at that point.
Not that place.
Yeah.
Other places, yes. Wild, right?
Yeah.
Wild. And the snow from Snowpocalypse didn't wash out the creek.
Right.
It washed out the road, but not the creek.
Yeah.
And I think it might be because the creek is shaded.
Well, think about all the debris that's also
the one hillside that all that water came from was just exposed to the south.
Yeah.
Just hot sun. You get a couple hot days, and man, it just accumulated. Yeah, just crazy to try to think about how that's working.
Water's selective in the dumbest ways. I wish it would not be that way. So anyway, the weather, and we're getting hit with more cold right now.
Yes.
And it's going to warm up in the next few, but
yeah. So we have 2 more days. We have 2 more days this week of both Saturday and Sunday. We have beautiful weekend.
Yeah,
beautiful, nice, warm weekend. And so you have another 2 days. So we're a little bit further east of Salt Lake. So their actual heat wave, or their 2 days of heat, is going to be Sunday and Monday, according to the weather app. I checked it out today. And so it's going to be warm, and they're going to have some more melting. But like we've been saying, if it melts slowly, they're gonna be okay. But there's already, the sandbag streets are already reminiscent of 1983, both in how they're designed and sandbagged, and the water running through them.
Wow.
So very surprising. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos.
I haven't, but I'm going to be in Salt Lake next weekend.
Okay. What you doing?
Going to a concert.
Oh, right on. What you going to?
Muse.
Don't know who he is.
They.
I just kidding.
No, they're from Europe. They
right on.
In fact, the lead singer was what's Goldie Hawn's daughter's name?
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson and the lead singer have children together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I like that Kate Hudson.
If I remember correctly. So, they're no longer together. In fact, there was an album produced by Muse in like 2011 or something like that, and some of the songs everybody's like, that must be because they broke up, that song that he wrote.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know about that, but I know I'm going to go down, have a good time, and so no podcast next week because I'll be leaving Thursday to go to that show.
Okay.
So
we'll make sure and cover the bases here, and if you notice, Rock Creek is running really high right now
on CSI's campus. Yeah, I went for a 2-mile walk the other day, just trying to make more time for that.
Yeah,
and so I walk on the part of the campus that has the ditch. There's a ditch.
It's the Prine Coulee.
Yeah. And so I'm walking along the trail, and I'm walking along the ditch because it's completely empty. There's very little water coming through it.
Yeah.
And this is Tuesday.
Right.
And I saw a bunch of ducks that are paired up, the mallard and the whatever you call it, the drake are about 4 or 5 pairs of those, and they were cool, and lots of ugly garbage in the thing from having settled. And so you asked something about the geothermal output.
Yeah.
And so I think I saw where that is now. So that's the water that was really in there.
Yeah, that's most of it in the wintertime, yeah.
Today?
Yeah. You would drown if you try to cross it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They have let it go full bore. I had no idea that it was that close. I'm just thinking, I wonder when they're going to turn this water on here. And so they're anticipating we already know that the ditch service here, ditch riders are out burning the ditch weeds, and they're already starting to fill.
And the canals. The canals are starting to fill.
So I'm not surprised. I just didn't expect it so quick because I had just been out there, but also happy to see that we got the water. And
well, it's mid-April.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 2 weeks from May.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go 2 more weeks and we don't get a lot of hot temperatures, when May hits and it may hit hard.
No pun intended, but pun intended.
There's going to be some very, very serious fallout from the melt.
Yeah.
Because in 1983 they didn't have a problem on the Colorado until July 4th.
Wow.
I mean, it takes that long to go all the way downstream. So it was then that people got worried about the Colorado River. So it's going to take the next 2.5 months to melt that snow. And if it's nice and easy like it is now, slowly getting into it. But I don't think we've seen the worst of it.
Well, to be continued, to say the least.
Definitely.
So, let's see. What's our next tract?
Well, the weather was a big deal.
I don't know that we need to spend too much time on our weight thing. People know if they're listening that we're working on it. My last low weigh-in was 252, so I'm inching. Nice. It's more of a crawl, but I'm getting there. I was 2 pounds heavier than that this morning, but I'm trending, and that's the point that I'm focused on. So, but I was asking my middle son. So my two boys got their bow hunters education a couple weeks ago. So I talked with Bram on my way to school the other morning, and one of the things I asked him, I go, "Hey, would you be interested in going on a hike to see if we can find your water bottle that I dropped?"
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, I think I'd be up for it, Dad."
That's a big hike.
It's a big hike, but he's also 2 years older.
Yeah.
He's a lot more mature, you know, and so and he goes, "I could probably carry my own backpack this time." Like, he's a little bit more he knows just how hard it was, but he's not
we took the long way last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we would want to take a different way in, but we could, but
straight up Elk Ridge.
Yeah,
just straight up Elk Ridge and over. That's where the water bottle is.
It's just on the other side of that plateau.
Yeah.
And I did ask the game warden in that class, by the way, because he was talking about pronghorn and ungulates and all that stuff. And I go, "So can you explain to me why I see pronghorn up at 10,000 feet?" He goes, "That is a bit bizarre."
Good. It's not just us.
Yeah. But they apparently have a niche that they figured out to just survive up there. So, because I'm like, dude, I'll go up there at 10,000 feet.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden something snorts at you and you're like, why is a pronghorn here?
Yeah.
Why?
A small group of them. And I saw them lower earlier, but I know that they were up at that 10,000 foot part because we found John's video camera and he had video of them running up that. They're going higher in elevation, running away from John.
Yeah.
So it was just like, my goodness.
Silly. And you talked last week about antelope sheds.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And I found a TikTok next day of somebody finding an antelope shed.
That was cool. I was glad you sent me that.
Isn't that great?
So it confirms what I heard. I didn't know if I should believe the expert or not, but I did. But seeing really brought it home, and that's just like
that was amazing because they won't last long if they shed this time of year. They're not going to last long, and that guy found some.
And maybe they don't really shed the same as other ungulates. They might just
once every 5 years.
Think of like a snake shed,
know? Right.
So anyway,
fascinating piece. I don't have rights to that video, but I would love to show you a really cool antelope shed.
Yeah,
it's really neat.
And I apologize. I just don't know that I want to take the time to try to find one for you to have a picture of. So
I bet I could find one on the internet. Just Google antelope shed.
But it's cooler if you have a video.
It was way cool that guy found it.
But I'll be honest, when I'm out there, kicking brush around where I know antelope exist, I'll probably keep my eyes open a little bit closer.
Yeah, I definitely will now.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got an experiment to do. Why don't we turn? I'm going to turn around here.
Okay.
I've got ChatGPT pulled up behind me.
Yeah.
On a separate tab. And I've asked it, and I haven't hit enter yet.
Right.
I just thought, you know what? This is out there. Let's see what ChatGPT says about elk hunting. So I'm going to ask it specifically to tell me the best way to hunt elk. I need to alter it to bow hunt elk
in September.
In the state of Idaho.
Yeah. Got to be specific.
So I'm
because if you just ask ChatGPT how to hunt, they say get a big old gun.
Yeah. So what is the best method? What is the best method? What is the best? Let's see. Best way to bow hunt elk in Idaho during September.
There you go.
Okay. And here's the output. As an AI language model, I cannot give you advice on hunting, but I can provide you with some general information about how hunting elk in Idaho during September. That's a little contradictory, isn't it? I can't, but I will.
Yeah, I can give you some tips. I can't tell you how to do it, but I can give you some tips.
Scouting. Before hunting season starts, it's important to scout the area you plan to hunt. We've talked about that. That's how I ended up where I like to go most of the time.
So we ended up losing a water bottle.
Yeah. Practice shooting. Oh, calling us out.
Okay.
Calling us out. Practice shooting. Cover your scent.
Wow.
Cover your scent,
Third.
it says. Yeah.
It's like a good top 10 list.
Yeah.
Or top, was it 7 or 8?
5. It's got 5.
Okay.
Use calls and decoys. Now, we just started employing a decoy that I haven't used. We haven't used efficiently yet, but we have a decoy.
I think that sucker's going to work.
And I don't see that specific decoy
No.
on sale very often. I was at Cabela's in Boise.
Yeah.
They didn't have it.
Yeah.
They don't have it in stock anymore at least the last time I was there at the Sportsman's here. So that's interesting. And there's more details here. I'm just cutting to the chase here. Use decoys. Elk are very vocal, visual. Okay. And we actually started talking about this one right before because you showed me a video, and in that video, this was alluded to.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient. So remember, hunting can be dangerous, and it's important to always follow safety guidelines and regulations. It's also important to respect the animals you are hunting and the environment in which they live.
Yeah.
It had a message of conservation.
If you chase elk with a bow, you have respect.
Yeah.
You better have. You have to have respect for those animals if you're in elk country. And I've always said, and I think I've said on the podcast before too, the 3 most difficult activities on the human heart are number 1, shoveling snow, number 2, pushing a car, and number 3, chasing elk. And I added number 3, but all 3 things we do in Idaho and Montana and Wyoming, a lot of very difficult on the human heart.
Yeah.
A lot of work. So I've shoveled a lot of snow, and I've pushed a car. I know the kind of energy it takes, and when I'm hiking up a hill after elk, my heart is hammering.
Yep.
Oh,
okay, I've got
my
2 more.
goodness.
I've got 2 more questions. This one,
okay.
This one might hit home for you because I don't think the AI is going to give us the answer that we demand and deserve.
Okay.
ChatGPT, what is the greatest outdoor sport? Wow. I'm coughing in everybody's ear. What is the greatest outdoor sport in North America?
That's good. That's good.
It's difficult to determine the greatest outdoor sport in North America, as different sports appeal to different people based on their interest, skill level, location. However, here's some popular ones. Sorry, I don't know where that.
There you go. Get rid of it. It's all right.
Okay, close on number 1, closer on number 2. Number 1, fishing.
Okay. And I put fishing, I have the spectrum of rifle hunting and archery hunting. And in between is fishing. I think all forms of fishing are more sportsman than hunting. Almost all forms of fishing. I know that's
Number 2?
Yeah.
Hunting.
What?
Hunting is
just
number 2.
Hunting, just hunting.
In general. I know. Traditional outdoor activity allows people to connect with nature, provides sustainability, harvest game meat. Hiking.
Hiking is a great outdoor sport. So you put 2 and 3 together.
Yeah.
And that's definitely archery elk.
Camping.
Yeah.
And rock climbing.
Okay.
Overall, the greatest outdoor sport in North America depends on a personal preference, but the are many options. And one of which is not it's not here, but it's in between the lines if you look close enough.
Definitely.
Elk hunting.
Archery elk.
Archery elk is the greatest outdoor. All right.
One more. What's this question now?
What is the best unit to hunt archery elk?
Oh, there you go.
In Idaho.
Okay. Oh, that is gonna. Oh. So yeah, it might look through historic harvest reports. That is something. Boy, you could really use this.
Right? It was the best unit to hunt for elk with
a bow.
A bow. Oops. I cannot give you advice on hunting.
Yeah, best is more of a subjective.
The best unit to hunt for elk in Idaho will depend on various factors, such as type of elk you're hunting, hunting season, personal preferences, your hunting skills, research. Consider the season. Look for public land. Yeah, you did not answer my question, but I get it.
Yeah, ChatGPT needs a little more focused prompt sometimes.
Yeah. Have you done anything with the Bard yet?
The Bard?
Google Bard. It's Google's version of this.
Oh no,
I haven't. I did my first prompt on that today.
Yeah.
And so, I don't have that pulled up. I don't know if I can easily pull that up.
It's called the Bard.
Yeah, Google
like Beetle the Bard.
Bard, as in like
Shakespeare,
is known as the Bard. BARD.
I didn't know that.
I think that's the yeah. Meet Bard. We'll see. We'll see if they can get into an AI fight here. What is the greatest outdoor sport? Let's see. Oh, I have to.
You might have to register.
Yeah, so we can come back to that later. I did register, but that was on
you have to click a little square to confirm you're not a robot that any robot could definitely not click on.
Correct. So, anyway, that was fun, interesting.
Yeah.
I would have to say that.
Yeah, AI is going to be a new place to start for a lot of hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I have a question for it.
Oh, okay.
Just a question. I just want to know, on average, how many elk wolves kill? Statistically? I don't know how you would phrase that. How many elk? I think it's 20.
I started doing that backwards. How many wolves do elk kill?
Yeah. So what I heard was one elk kills about roughly 20. See, I did it. One wolf kills 20 elk a year, roughly, and they are successful only 1 out of every 5 hunts as a pack.
All right. I know this is unbecoming the screen time, but the number of elk killed by wolves annually can vary widely depending on factors such as size of the population. But it's being all technical. Like, I don't give us the answer we're looking for, not the.
So yeah, ask it another question. Say, okay. What I mean was statistically.
Well, it's starting to provide some of that.
Okay.
According to research, the percentage of elk killed by wolves varies by region, but most areas where wolves and elk coexist, wolves are estimated to kill between 5 to 15% of the population.
Okay.
So
every year.
Yeah. Annually. It says annually.
Wow.
So in some cases, percentage may be higher. For example, in areas where elk populations are low, wolves may kill a higher percentage of the remaining elk population. Yeah. And in areas where wolves have recently been reintroduced, they may initially have a greater impact on elk populations until the elk learn to avoid them. So think about that, Colorado.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's it's
going to change the game in Colorado. It's going to change the game.
It's going to improve it in the long run. You got to believe me.
It's going to improve it in the long run for people who aren't lazy.
It's also worth noting that wolves tend to target weaker, older, and sick elk, which can actually benefit the overall health of the population by removing individuals that may be more susceptible to disease and other threats. Overall, the impact of wolves to elk populations is complex and can vary widely depending. And so, yeah. Okay.
I saw a post. It was a great post. Well, and it's of 4 big, beautiful male elk high on a ridge in the snow, and they're just bounding from their beds as wolves take them. And the post says, I don't see how any of these elk are weak, right? How are wolves keeping the herd healthy when all they're targeting is these big, healthy males?
Okay.
Right? And I thought, well, the slowest one of them is going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
Whichever's the slowest. And they don't have the herd safety. And it's better that they get males.
Yeah.
It's better that they get bulls. That's why we hunt bulls, so that the cows can give birth to more bulls.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was a fun post, but I always thought, well, the slowest one of them is not gonna do too good, and only 1 in about every 5 elk hunts is successful anyway.
Yeah,
all four of those big fellas could get away and do just fine.
And 5 to 20%. Well, what's 20% of 100?
Is that a real question?
Sorry, that was a dumb question. There are dumb questions, aren't there? And I teach for a living? What is wrong with me?
I went to answer it and I go, oh, wait, it's a trick.
I'm really embarrassed, actually. That's the kind of day I've had.
What was the context of the question?
I
What was
don't
it
know
for?
anymore.
Oh.
I'm so embarrassed. Duh. 20 elk out of 100.
Yeah.
Lame.
Well, I think
That means you have 80
what I was looking
elk
for is
left.
if what I heard was one wolf kills roughly 20 elk a year, right?
Well, it didn't say that.
I know. That's the statistic I heard. That's the statistic I was looking to be reinforced by ChatGPT, and it didn't do that for me.
It's 5 to 20% by wolves in an area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it depends on how many elk.
So the idea that now, just in case, to play devil's advocate to that statistic you brought to the table, if one wolf kills 20 elk, that's a really high number, especially if you have 20 wolves killing 20 elk.
Yeah.
That would be a lot higher than a 20% of the population. And so
Would it? I don't know what the population is. I mean, the population of let's go with that. The population of elk in Idaho is about 150,000.
Yeah.
So 20% of that is 30,000 elk.
Oh, well, maybe so.
And that's a high end.
Sure.
But right now, but right now, Idaho has 1,000 more wolves than they want.
Right.
Okay. So whatever that number is, if it is 20%,
yeah,
and that would be 30,000. Even if it's less than that, it's closer to 20,000. And sportsmen in Idaho kill about 20,000, only just barely up to the 20,000 mark for sportsmen. Okay. So again, my original statement stands, and that is wolves kill more elk in Idaho than sportsmen do, and sportsmen kill 20,000 elk a year.
Point taken.
So I do, and we talked last week about the species of wolves and are they supposed to be here? Listen, I will concede that wolves are a nuisance if you concede that they do belong here. They do.
Yeah.
But there are too many, and we need better management. I came across a story this week, and I think I was just scrolling on TikTok. And somebody says, and you have to be careful. This was so Alex Jones, because Alex Jones, you know who he is, right?
I do.
He would have this folder on his desk. He goes, "I got the papers right here. They show corruption. They show collusion. They show everything." And you never see the papers, right?
I'm pretty sure he's got a problem with his what do they call that? The sort of people are just a little bit more angry and aggressive when they have a I can't think of what it's called, but he reminds me of somebody I met once that had that problem.
Well, the idea being that this person starts talking about wolves, and a man was attacked by a wolf, or wolves even, and that he was mauled so badly I couldn't show you the pictures.
Yeah,
and before she's done speaking, my phone is down, the TikTok's still running, and I am Googling this story.
Yeah,
this story comes from Eastern Oregon. Eastern Oregon, there's a movement in Eastern Oregon and Eastern Oregon and Western Idaho to join
mostly Eastern Oregon.
Right. It's mostly it's called the Greater Idaho movement.
They want to become Western Idaho.
Yes. Yeah. Because there's a huge divide if you think about the people in the Willamette Valley.
Correct.
If you think about the people in Portland.
Yeah.
And you think about wolves in Eastern Oregon.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I don't know if they will ever understand that these wolves need to be managed.
Yeah.
Right? There's such a gulf. It's like us and Northern Idaho.
Yeah.
Right? Northern Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, resort town. What do we know politically about their needs? Right?
It's a little different. There was
almost
movements back in the day
yeah.
of two Idahos.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing I like about the Greater Idaho movement.
Yeah.
It's very possible that Idaho could have oceanfront property. If that were to come true. Probably not in my lifetime.
Yeah,
but
it is an interesting idea. And
it's a 10-hour drive.
To say, you know what, Oregon, I disagree with you so much, and I also agree with Idaho so much, that why can't we just make this amicable?
Yeah.
Right? California could become 7 different states, and probably should based on population. Yeah. And I don't know if it will ever happen, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But I only want to look at it when it comes to the understanding of wolf predator management, because these things were not reintroduced to Oregon. They came from Idaho.
Yeah.
They crossed the Snake River. They got into the Blue Mountains. They are there, and they are there to stay, and they are untouchable.
Yeah.
They're untouchable.
Yeah.
And still, I'm sure 25% of them are poached.
Sure.
I mean, that was the statistic even during the active recovery in Idaho and Yellowstone.
Yeah. We've talked about running across people who are with that mentality.
Very adamant about killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I saw that video, and you're vilifying wolves the wrong way, and you look stupid to say that they're attacking people without any evidence, without any follow-up. You're vilifying wolves wrongly.
I know, and I felt bad because I told you about the story where I had a student that I was in class with, not as an instructor, but as a fellow student in my bachelor's program.
Yeah.
And we were having a conversation before class, and wolves came up, and I was excited because a story about the reintroduction of wolves in Yellowstone came out, and the story was glowing about the recovery of the ecology and how everything was going good and all this. And so I bring this up, and the student's like, she looked at me, she goes, "David, I wanted to like you."
Oh wow! Oh wow!
I have friends who are ranchers. A wolf chased them through their house.
Oh man!
And I said,
"Oh man."
How about no?
Yeah. And if you read, again, please read Carter Niemeyer's book, Wolfer. It is one of the most insightful, Wolfer and Decade of the Wolf. Decade of the Wolf on one end of the spectrum and Wolfer on the other. But even Wolfer, he was, he's not taking sides. He's like, this is just how it is. He's not one side or the other. He did a lot of he looked at a lot of what alleged wolf kills and could just tell, these weren't killed by wolves. And well, you like the wolf, you want it back here. No, I want to represent my job correctly.
So that under the surface mentality of just pure, like, would you say cynicism against somebody trying to understand something has always been there. There was something that just yesterday Vesta saw somebody posted something online, and I can't remember what it was, but it was along the lines of like, they just simply made a comment that was very genuine and very innocent. And the very first comment is, you're just doing this for attention. And it was not even one of those, it didn't warrant those kinds of things. And people piggyback off of that. And there's a sickness in the world that's always been there. And it gets sort of highlighted in various ways. And right now the internet's great at helping highlight that.
That's very great. Very great at it.
So, what else do we have going on before we get to, I guess, media? Did we just jump into the articles?
Whatever stories we have.
I guess I could jump into mine. So I talked about my boys passing hunter safety.
Yeah.
And I came across this headline last week. And this is statewide, not just Idaho, but across the United States. Hunting licenses, the sales of them have fallen back to pre-pandemic levels. So we've lost hunters.
Oh, that's fascinating. I knew anecdotally, right? You can feel it when you go into the woods. You can feel an increase in popularity. I didn't count anybody, but anecdotally, I'm like, there's a lot of people doing outdoor stuff. A lot of people. And I also read a story about people who moved from the city out to small town land folk like us, and they go, we can't hack it. I need an In-N-Out burger, man. I need to go golfing more. Right? We got like 4 golf courses around here.
Yeah, right.
Without driving a long way.
I have been accepted into the Bard.
Oh, congratulations.
So anyway, I just thought I'd pull it up. So I actually have the statistics so they provided from 2019 to 2020 wow. What this is our theme today. Today has been brought to you by Stutters and Utterances. Hunting license sales from 19 to 20 increased 5%.
Okay.
From 2020 to 2021, hunting license sales decreased by 1.9%.
Oh.
From 2021 to 2022, hunting license sales decreased a further 3.1%.
Wow. Right back down. Interesting. I know I say how grateful I am for the out-of-state hunters and the money they pay to hunt here, and now I know that all those tags are limited.
Yeah,
there used to be, hey, yeah, just come on up and just go hunting.
In a way, couple of things to think about though. We need hunters. We talk about that. I've got to, that what we say, they're in the ball pit or whatever you call the ball pin.
They're in the bullpen.
Bullpen.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not a baseball player.
Me either. But with the harsh winter we've had, if sales are down, that's probably not bad for the populations overall, since they're already going to, they're probably possibly going to need to limit anyway.
Yeah.
So there's some silver lining to it, even though it's not necessarily the right direction.
Right now is very, very critical and crucial for mule deer and pronghorn.
Yeah.
And I saw a satellite photo from last year or the last 2 years and this year of the Uinta Mountains, Yellowstone, the Rocky Mountains, and Wyoming, right? And you can see the white peaks. Even if you go on Google Earth, in the summertime, you see the white peaks. And from winters past, you see the white peaks. But this winter, Wyoming is a white square. It's a satellite picture.
Wow.
There's no clouds. It's a white
square.
Board. It is crazy. And I've seen TikToks.
What's all that yellow?
I've seen TikToks of guys talking about how there are the pronghorn mule deer season. They're looking at a 70% loss.
Yeah.
Of those babies because of the weather.
Yeah.
So, and last year I felt like, we can go back and review Elk Season Podcast if you want and talk about when actually spring showed up. Right?
Yeah.
Anecdotally, when were the springtime temperatures? And spring felt late last year.
Yeah.
It felt late.
Yeah, it did.
And
it's probably going to feel that way. Well, it already feels that way.
It already feels
I don't
that
think
way.
spring has gotten here yet because I keep saying winter has to go away first.
Yeah. When it's windy like it is today, and it'll be windy again next week when it cools off, I call that the death throes of winter.
Yeah.
Right? That's just winter getting its last kicks in.
Yeah.
So
another one that I came across, I don't have more than the headline here. It's kind of I think I got distracted or something. I took the screenshot, but a Wyoming hunter found a 222-inch deadhead mule deer. Since you're talking about Wyoming and mule deer. His truck then got vandalized.
Oh. At a trailhead?
I don't know. I didn't get to read the whole context, but here the headline, the game warden suspected poachers were involved. So he didn't just find a deadhead. Right.
He found something somebody else was after.
Yeah, and so what the picture is of a game warden at a deadhead, and it looks like it's you'll have to.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he saw it and. He like it was coincidental that he's out there. He goes over to see it.
Yeah.
And while he's over looking at it,
like No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
But a little toned down.
Yeah. But
yeah,
people. It's a
wow.
I'm sorry, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
On top of not being able to talk right anyway.
I'm stutterless.
When you look at this image, it's just incredible. This buck was amazing.
Yeah.
And so to think that it was poached, maybe.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, they're out there. They're out there, and 90% of them are turned in by neighbors and friends, man.
Yeah.
So if you know somebody who likes to, oh yeah, I can get away with this, I can sneak by. Make an anonymous call, please. Please make an anonymous call.
Do everyone a favor.
Yeah.
Let the people who need to be held accountable get held accountable.
Yeah.
Not just with hunting. Moving on.
Yes.
Now. What's next here? We got a dog. Well, we're in the mule deer realm, so let's talk about a dog that mauled a fawn to death and then was shot while in pursuit of another group of mule deer in the South Pocatello area. What do you know about that? Is it just?
It was just, hey, dogs. Dogs are chasing mule deer. It's not just. For fun. Now. What do you do? I don't know. This is a good topic. What do you do?
Yeah.
Dogs shouldn't be chasing and killing mule deer, but what's wrong with chasing them around?
Well,
right. You condition them to stay away from human habitation.
But at the same time, since they're already stressed, don't need something to unnecessarily stress it. And you, as a pet owner, you should be probably monitoring your pet better than that.
During the year, I don't know. If I have a dog and I want to go shed hunting, I don't want to keep him on a leash.
Yeah, but we don't know the context of that dog. Was it somebody's dog that just got out? That's one thing. Versus
or if I live on 5 or 10 acres, I don't want to chain him up, right? I would go and run. That's what you live in the country for,
right? I'm just saying. I guess the context that I'm speaking of is if the dog is let loose and he's not on its own property. And anyway,
I know there's a lot of gray area there. There's a lot of gray area there, and I'm not rooting for the mule deer or the dogs.
Me either.
So,
just to find weird segues to the next item.
Sure.
This happened in Pocatello. And when I lived in Pocatello, I lived on top of Red Hill.
Okay.
Basically. In fact, it was on top of Red Hill next to the Stevens Performing Arts Center and the student housing.
Mm-hmm.
I literally could walk out my house and walk to the top and walk over what they call it. There's these spires or piers or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pillars.
Pillars, yeah.
Yeah, so that's Red Hill.
Like the Greek,
Yeah, pillars of knowledge. Anyway, we had emails and warnings all the time for mountain lion sightings on campus in that area.
Yeah.
And so, though these mountain lions weren't necessarily in Pocatello, I just thought, hey, since we're in Pocatello, I'll remind you that I experienced that. But here in the Twin Falls area, we have a mountain lion prowling town.
Yeah, been spotted. There's enough cameras out there now. We're gonna see more and more of this with the Ring cameras, which are becoming almost standard issue on everybody's home.
Yeah.
My wife has a Ring camera in the CrossFit gym with this she works. And people will be like, "Hey, will you go back and look at so-and-so's reps because I think they miscounted. I think I beat them." Right?
That's funny.
And she'll go back and when there's somebody falls, you like doing box jumps.
Yeah.
Somebody falls and they're okay, then it's okay to laugh at it. And so they'll get it and they'll say, "Hey, ask her." But it's amazing how good that video is, how good the audio is. Because I have been in the gym pointing at the camera saying, "Hey, you don't talk to me because my wife could be listening right now."
Huh.
And she was listening. Right?
Wow.
She could hear me say that. She goes, "I knew that you were saying that." It's all for fun.
Yeah.
But with the proliferation of stuff like Ring cameras, we're going to see more and more of this.
I told you that I went to campus a few weeks ago and I was driving and it was dark and I was getting close. I was turning next to the Harrod Center, and that's how I go to my park spot. I turn into the Harrod Center entrance, and I go up to a little connector road that goes over to CSI's parking lot.
Yeah.
And up in the distance where the stop sign is for that crossroad where I turn, I saw a creature running, and it did not look like a dog. And it was big like a dog.
Yeah.
And it was running from the part of campus where those ducks would be and things like that. I don't know. I don't know. It was too dark to tell. But it just looked kind of suspicious. I didn't know what it was, and I think there was a cat sighting at that time too. But I don't know if that's what I saw or if my brain just because I had heard about a cat sighting painted a cat in my mind. But
sure, it happens all the time. Every stump I see, I'm pretty sure that's an elk
or Sasquatch.
I'm pretty sure that's a mule deer. Look at that stump.
Yeah,
get your glasses out. I want to see. I want to get a closer.
Is that a twig or is that a branch?
Sure, that's a GD stump.
Yeah. Idaho and Fish and Game have actually euthanized a cat up in Haley.
Yeah.
So they're being pushed all around this weather.
And
population explosions.
Yeah, it's a tough winter, and the population fluctuations are going to happen. So
that's I think it there. So let's go to. Hey, do you have elk in the news? Elk, you say?
I do.
On an elk podcast?
I know there's some elk, and it's such a great Idaho story.
Tell us about the Interstate 15 between Chubbuck and Blackfoot. I saw this on the news, but I want to hear your perspective too. I always like that.
Yeah. So it's just, my perspective is, I just love it. Interstate 15 connects Canada with Las Vegas and Los Angeles.
Yep.
Okay. They had to shut down the entire interstate to get 500 elk across it.
Yeah,
that's a lot of elk.
Yeah, and the video was pretty cool. I mean, I was sad for anybody who had to travel north or south that day.
It's a bummer when you're in a hurry, but it would be even a bigger bummer if you had to meet one of those at 80.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In fact, when I, again, lived in Pocatello,
Mhm.
I drove a truck and I was driving back from, so I drove to Preston, and that's where I would see all the
Yeah.
deer herds and their migration.
Huge.
I
Yeah.
estimated about 700 to 800 one night.
Oh,
And it was so bright because it was a full moon, so I could actually kind of count the estimated heads. It was ridiculously awesome. But then I would go up to Idaho Falls and even Rexburg. That was a daily drive that I had to do. So I'm coming back, and I know it's about 6:30 in the morning, and I'm just outside of Blackfoot. I'm between Blackfoot and Pocatello, and I'm near some farm fields. And I see this giant horse trotting through these fields. I'm like, well, that's odd. I don't see horses there usually.
Yeah.
And it's getting closer to the freeway, and I go, oh, that's a moose.
Oh, wow.
And on the evening news that day, they reported that Fish and Game had to not euthanize it; they had to relocate it.
Yeah.
Because it was running around Blackfoot.
Wow.
So it was huge. It was a big old. I think it was a cow. I don't know. It was springtime. It was just after. It was maybe March.
Oh, okay.
About this time of year.
Yeah.
So it's possible that it could have just been a bull, but it was huge. It was big.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Moose are huge.
Yeah, we used to see all those. We used to see moose a lot when we lived in Helena.
I don't. Oh,
When we went out hunting in Helena, yeah.
Remember that? I just remember one time specifically we saw the cow and the two, and her two calves, but then that big bull, that just was hanging out. Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah, that big bull that had just shed his velvet.
Yeah,
and his antlers were big white shovels.
Just
amazing. That was cool.
No tag, cool. And he wasn't skittish. He just was hanging out. Like,
moose are like, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
nothing.
And think you had me and your little boy in the back seat and your wife.
Yeah.
At the time, so, binoculars, stud adapter system. What's this about?
So, your arms get tired holding up binoculars. So this is just a tripod for binoculars, but it's a quick connect.
Okay.
So you can set them up there and adjust them and turn them and twist them and make sure you're looking in the right direction if you want. It's a nice piece of equipment. I would use that for a spotting scope. I definitely need a lighter spotting scope tripod.
Yeah.
Because my tripod is heavy.
So my trekking poles have little attachments.
Yeah, that's right. They do.
So it doesn't come with an attachment for, say, my binoculars, but I retrofitted one of the things so that it has a little platform. So if I wanted to, I can just set my binoculars on top of them, and it's lovely, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. These kinds of things are nice.
Yeah.
I would like something that's a little bit more substantial, but I would like it to work within the realm of something I'm already using, like my trekking poles. So that's the news.
I did find another piece of equipment. I'll try to I'll definitely get a picture of it on the podcast, but I forget the name of it, but it's a hammock. It's a lay flat hammock system. You stretch it between two trees, and you can lay in it. It's like a firm bottom tent, so you can sleep on your side. You can sleep on your stomach if you want. It only sags a tiny bit. So I'm like, oh my gosh, if that is real, I want one. So I went immediately to YouTube and looked for a review. I want to see what somebody has to say about this, because there's plenty of people out there that do that. And what he said was, it's 8.5 pounds.
Okay.
It's too heavy. It's heavier. Yeah. It's a heavy sleeping system, and it's small. Right now, I'm already cramped. Inside a hammock.
Yeah.
Right. But something that I like about the hammock, and I know I've talked about before, is the insulation. It's just, you lose that insulative value when you press down on something, and even the foam pad has its limits, because you press out all of that air and you just lose all of that. You lose a lot of that insulation, and it doesn't happen with a nice underquilt on the hammock. And when I have the underquilt on the hammock, I don't even have to zip up my sleeping bag. It's like there's two parts to the sleeping bag. Yeah. There's an under and an over. So I got my feet in, and I have my sleeping bag just draped over me, but I have down over the top of me and down underneath me, and it's cozy. It's so cozy. Yeah.
I actually saw a sleep system just last week. Now it's too bulky to hike with, but it's what I would use in a tent, and it's kind of what Vesa and I already do for our cots. Where I have the foam, then I have a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
But it's this built-in system, and it's really cool. until you see the price.
What is it?
$700.
Yowza.
But it folds up and it's like the size of a suitcase.
Yeah.
And it's got everything built into it.
And that's what this guy said. He goes, if you're not going too far from the car, then this would be great.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not going too far from the car, I'm sleeping in a cot.
Yeah.
It's like a bed.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Cots are really nice. So, anyway.
Yeah, I would put this thing on a cot. This thing, they're trying to sell it like you can just sleep right next to your vehicle. Or I'm like, put it on a cot.
Yeah.
That way I can put my, I'm old. I don't want to get up off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Neither do my kids.
There's a lot of good value in that cot.
I have, in fact, I have a hammock style lawn chair now.
Yes, I saw. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those.
People are raving about them.
They're amazing.
Raving about them. Yeah.
They're amazing. Last week they were $40 at Costco, which was like $15 cheaper than what I bought mine for. So I'm erg.
Well, if licensing is down, then all outdoor activities are probably taking a little bit of a hit from that.
True.
So those chairs, but those chairs, man, those are good for soccer games.
They're
Those are
so
good for
comfy.
S'mores making.
For big, tall people.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I just, we bought one for Vesa and I, and then Draven, he's 6'3".
Yeah.
And he's still sitting in this little tiny chair we bought him like when he's 9. And I'm like, I feel
buddy.
bad. I'll
Hey,
take
buddy.
pity on you. And
So
now
they get the hand-me-down chairs. Hey, Dad's old chair. You can be the captain. Dad needs a new chair. That's total hand-me-down situation.
I decided this time there's a time where you have to break that mentality, because I agree totally.
Yeah,
How the
I
hand-me-downs,
know.
but this
I
kid
know.
is tall. So, all right, why don't we finish off with just one? Since I got the BARD in, I went ahead and entered 1 point of comparison. So the greatest outdoor sport in North America.
Okay.
What does the BARD think versus what does ChatGPT?
What does the BARD think? Let's find out.
And anytime we want to have a competition between two, I'm signed up on both of them. We can just have some fun.
All
with it.
right.
So here's the BARD's take on the greatest outdoor sport in North America. The greatest sport in North America is a matter of opinion. Sorry, we've heard that before.
Yeah, and it's my opinion, and it's archery elk. Anyway.
But the most popular options include hiking, camping, fishing, hunting, and skiing. So it's
That's
just
so
a different
dumb.
order,
You know
but
what?
same stuff.
AI is not really that I. Okay.
The one that you enjoy the most. Way to be neutral, BARD and
Yeah.
ChatGPT, but that's
Well,
the wrong answer.
That's why I took a stance and I said archery elk is the greatest outdoor sport in North America.
So let's write that and see what it says to that.
I think I've said it enough on the podcast that once they start listening to it, the AI is going to be listening to all these stupid podcasts.
According to the Elk Season Podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that. It was anticlimactic, as it turned out to be. It was I kind of expected more of the same, but
Yeah.
I have noticed some differences with just the few prompts I did at my office between the BARD and ChatGPT. The BARD provided more information
Okay.
and sometimes gives you citations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I
So-
appreciate that.
So
Always cite your source
yeah.
because I might look that up. You
In
never know.
fact, maybe just to test that to see if it will do that, let's put in the wolf statistic one.
Okay.
How many wolves?
How
or
many elk
elk?
does-
It's back to that.
Yeah. Well, is there a way to phrase it so we can get a number on average? How many elk does a single wolf kill in a year? On average, I guess that would be, you take the population, you take the.
Oh no. Hold up. I'll try to alter the language here, so it won't be a complete side by side, but.
So while
What
you're doing that, let me throw another statistic at you. If Colorado has 300,000 elk, and they do, and the wolf population is sufficient enough to kill 20% of that, that is 60,000 elk a year in Colorado that wolves will kill. That's a fantastic number. That's a huge number. That's a lot of unsold elk tags for Colorado.
Yeah. I put what percentage of elk do wolves kill annually?
Okay.
So I worded it that way.
Okay.
And it says here, wolves kill an estimated 16 to 22 elk annually in Yellowstone Park. This is, I don't know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's 20, right?
Yeah.
That's, 18, 19, 20.
This represents about 5 to 7% of the population in the park. However, the actual number killed, in addition to killing elk, Wolves play a role in regulating the elk population and preventing from overcrowding. And anyways,
Yeah.
it wasn't. I don't think this one was as good as the other one.
No, that's right there. It's right there in the pocket. I said what I said before was if it's 1 in 20 and there's they say one wolf kills 20 elk a year.
Yeah.
There's 1,500 wolves in Idaho. That's 30,000 elk a year.
Yeah.
It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're right there.
Yeah.
You're right there. 60,000 elk a year in Colorado could be taken by wolves. That's a fantastic statistic.
And it'll probably be slightly higher for the first few years because the elk don't know to stay away from the wolves.
No, not far enough away. Yeah. And that's gonna be such a story. We're gonna be following this for 15, 20 years.
So and this reintroduction is already happening.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of that population.
So wolves moved in on their own, and I think like the same year, the people said, well, let's get some more.
Yeah.
Let's get them in there.
So
that's what it's going to mean for Colorado.
Yeah.
And it's something to take note of if you're an elk hunter.
Yeah. But it's not. It's for the better.
It's not. I don't think it's dire, and I know a lot of most elk hunters would disagree with me on that.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited that the wolf's back. I like wild places to be wild, and I expect the return of the grizzly bear to California. I really, really, really want that to happen.
Yeah.
Devious laugh included.
So I saw something about the grizzly bear population and something about the grizzly bear in California going extinct, and it was a different I forget what the term is, like subspecies or whatever, a different variety of grizzly bear.
Right, because you think about the different kind of wolves.
Right.
Because you think about, well, bears on Kodiak Island are different than other grizzlies.
Right. So I'm wondering if the same thing will unfold, though, because we have the same species of wolf. It's just that they adapted in that condition versus here in Idaho, but they'll eventually get there in Idaho.
Yeah.
Is that the case with the grizzly bear? So I don't know if
that's a good question.
So
that's a good question.
Yeah, because
I don't know. Let's try.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Well, you can get some grizzly bears from Yellowstone. The greater Yellowstone ecosystem could spare a few, and you could get those over there. That seems, as far as climate goes, to be fairly similar, at least latitude wise. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's a mess. Mm-hmm. It's a mess. Mm-hmm. 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 You don't say that with your mouth. You say it with your nose. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well,
that's all. That's all we have time for
week.
Today. This time, folks.
See you back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Hopefully it warms up. It does warm up, but hopefully it warms up slow. The people in Utah are already sandbagging the road.
And I don't want to have my weekend ruined next week. I have to go to IKEA.
Yeah. Think about David, will you?
Yeah.
Your trip to IKEA. Oh,
I'm not going to IKEA.
Poor dude.
But I've always wanted to go to. I'm going to IKEA, but that's not why I'm going to Utah.
I've been to IKEA once. It's fantastic. It's as a curiosity guy, you just go, oh, this is incredible. You can't leave until you see everything they have for sale. It's a maze.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about
Yeah.
it. So Vesta and I don't know what we're in.
But the
for,
shopping carts are cool because you can Tokyo drift them. You know.
Okay.
All of them are on casters. It's
Nice.
awesome. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
And the meatballs weren't that great, but my kids were tired.
They have
screaming.
meatballs?
Well, Swedish meatballs, dude.
Sweet.
Yeah, Swedish.
Nice.
Actually, yeah. All right. See you in a couple weeks.
Cheers.
Goodbye.